Yes, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Dose podcast. Today we have another very special guest. He is arguably the gun bar king and not arguably the update thread king himself, Young Crumpet. How's it going, man?
What's good, mate? How are you doing yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. How you been keeping in these weird times, man?
Yeah, just been surviving,
We
taking
can
it step
do at the moment, isn't it?
yeah, it's all you can do. Yeah, just taking it step by step, not many update threads to updates at this time. So
No, it's very true, very true. But so in terms of yourself, man, jumping straight into the questions, like, how is it that you got into battle rap originally then?
I got into battle rap around 2009. Mate of mine who when I was at school, when I was like 14, a mate of mine who had like an older stepbrother was already into like grind time and that. So the first battle I watched was around the time it came out, Hold It On versus Passwords. So
Okay.
this is like September 2009. So yeah, around that time, and then like I got into grind time, and then around I think the same event it was when Kruger came,
Yeah,
about
okay.
live and Lucency. And so through that, I got into that like Don't Flop and the English side of it. So yeah, been around for a while, man.
Nice, man. Yeah, fucking years ago now, to be fair, but that's
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. And like for yourself, were you always attending events as a fan, or did that come much later down the line? Like, what was the first event that you attended?
The first event I attended was in 2013. I think it was the Don't Flop Liverpool one with O-Shaped Lizard, Innuendo versus Euphorical. So yeah, a couple of years later, and I've been attending events since then. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. And is that the same event where Shuffle battled Ricky Riley and
And most Marlow filed most Fob.
yeah,
So yeah, same event. So yeah, it was a pretty sick one.
nice, man. Yeah, that was a massive venue from what I remember of it. Like there was a lot of
Yeah.
people there.
Oh yeah, it was an absolutely massive one, but because of that, and because like you could never see on the camera, but the roof it was called the dome for a reason. It was absolutely massive, and because of that, kind of like fucked up the sound of it because there
Yeah.
was a low reverb. So yeah, it was a bit weird, but on cam, but it was amazing in the venue for me.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. There was some good battles on that event. But like you've been battling for a while now yourself. It's got to be a good. Is it 4 years now?
Nearly three. I my first battle was September 2017 versus
Okay.
the Dutch one.
Okay.
Uh,
Nice. And that's not under the name of Young Crumpet, though. Is that right?
so I had a video battle like nearly 4 years ago, July 2016, versus a guy called White Shadow. Over on ECCM, which is kind of like they've just actually rebranded, it's become a new division for No Coast for
That's
New
it. Yeah.
England. Yeah, but they used to do video battles, and through that is actually how Rapper's Fall came about, because Rory Hartigan was around there at that time, and Rapper's Fall started as like an offshoot, off-brand, like a kind of extension of ECCM.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I did all that and I did that under the name Young Crumpet, and then I kind of like decided to switch it a bit, so I went with another name, Sure.
Right. Okay. And
Yeah,
what made you go back to Young Crumpet then?
I don't. I think because if you haven't, I don't know if you've seen Me versus Darker. It didn't kind of like go well. That was the one where I watched about 4 bars, choked and pulled my phone up for the rest of the rounds because it was a one rounder. But I think to kind of like disassociate myself with it, but also people were saying Young Crump's a bad name in general. So I switched back to Young Crumpet, and it's been that way ever since.
Nice, man. No, I like it. And I think Young Crumpet definitely suits you better in that sense. But like for yourself, then, so you've done roughly about 12, or you have roughly about 12 battles online now. Is that roughly about right?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it's 11, including that video battle.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so got quite a few up there. So, yeah.
Nice. Okay. And what would you say is your favourite battle that you've been a part of so far?
Um, I don't know. It's either got to be what was considered my breakout performance versus Manic on Dub Scandal, or my Titan one, which is what people consider my best, like, all-round battle, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's the Manic performance is amazing. It's very funny, but I think you can kind of, when you watch your battles through, you can see that you get more confident with each battle, kind of thing. The progression's quite obvious, and
Yeah,
I
and
don't know if I'd go with the Titan battle or the Shapy Fiend battle, so the recent one in Ireland, man.
I was gonna say, if you're saying like it increases in confidence every time in that shaky battle, it was our fucking peak. We were both really confident in that. But
Definitely. No, I
yeah,
know. I
like
love
that.
that battle.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, I'd say that's definitely the one where I got the most confidence and just more comfortable with it. So yeah, hopefully that's kind of like a trend that continues.
Definitely. Yeah, man. And like, I sat down and did an episode yesterday with Sweeney from iBattle and Beast Mode and stuff, and he was aware of you just through how supportive you are on the iBattle forum, but he had
Yeah,
no idea that you battled. So
I've always, I've always been a fan on the iBattle forum, and just been posting on there. But yeah, I mean, a couple of days after the Tyson battle actually released, Lex posted about it on Facebook and was just like, so that drew a lot of attention from like eyeballs guys. So if you look at the comments of it, it's kind of littered with eyeball guys a bit who kind of didn't realize I battled. So yeah, it's
right,
pretty.
nice one. And is there any aspiration to get over there?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I mean, opponents have been talked about, like, not with Lex, but people have said, oh, you should battle this guy over there, or you should battle that guy. I think, well, we'll see where we are after this lockdown. Um, and yeah, maybe if I get over there one time and hopefully battle over there, you know.
Yeah, that would be good to see, man. And like for me personally, iBattle's probably the league that I follow the most right now. I just enjoyed pretty much everything that they release, so I'm a huge fan in that sense. But I think the more UK guys that we can get over there, Lex is definitely willing to pretty much offer anyone a plate in that sense. So it'd be good to
Yeah,
see
man.
as many people as possible going over. But is there anyone in particular on iBattle that you'd like to go up against?
The one that people have said the most for me to battle over is a guy called Nonch.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
He's kind of like his style's like the most similar to mine over there. But yeah, it's really like, I think when I go over there, it would be like a case of beggars can't be choosers. Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely. I appreciate that. And
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if Lex would put me up against Notch, it'd be cool. But I don't really care in terms of opponent, as long as I kind of get that opportunity to battle over there. I'd be grateful enough for that as is.
of course, man. And it's something that comes up on the show quite often. But so Don't Flop did an event in Cardiff last summer where Kinnell battled Raptor, as in Raptor from Ireland.
He
And
did.
I spent most of the day with Canal that day, and he was saying like he'd not long been over to iBattle. And he just said, if anyone ever goes to iBattle, don't request an opponent. Just let Lex pick it, because he's just so naturally talented at picking matchups.
Yeah, he is.
So there's no point in really thinking about it too much. I guess it's just once the call comes, or once you're able to go over, just let Lex pick whoever he decides, kind of thing. But
yeah, he is really good with all that, and iBattle is definitely like one of the biggest surprises over the last couple of years, with just how good it's been, and how regular, how high the quality of battles they've been putting on is. Do you know what I mean?
oh, definitely, man. Like, I think in the last couple of years, they've easily put on some of my favourite battles. Like, I love Real Sick XL is phenomenal. Real Sick Sean O'Shawn I love as well. Like, there's just there's too many battles to name. To be fair, they've been putting on some absolutely amazing battles. But
after actually Real Sick came over here and Battle Maverick, his popularity over here and in general has just kind of skyrocketed.
Yeah, it was good to see. Really good to see. Like, I wasn't sure how he'd adapt to battling on a big stage over here, because I mean I think he's battled quite a few times on UW and once or twice on a big stage, but I don't think he was as good back in the UW days. I think he's really stepped it up since then.
Yeah,
but I was at the All-Star game and he controlled the room, man. He was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think obviously when you're on a card, I think he kind of has to set that standard. When you're on a card with fucking Shy Horror's return, kind of have to stand out. And when you're against Maverick, who's kind of a bit of fan favorite in the Premier Battles as it is, you kind of just have to kind of show out and show that you can hang with these people. And I think he definitely did that.
100%. Yeah, I agree. He was brilliant, and I think he's. I do think he's destined to be a star. I think he's probably my favourite to win this URL tournament that's coming up. Yeah. He's got a tough opponent in the first round in Jada Nightwing, but I think it's going to be really good. I personally think it's between him and Kid Chaos to win it. So.
Yeah, well, I was saying the other day that I think him versus Jay is going to be really good, but whoever wins that will probably win the tournament as a whole, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think they're both phenomenal, but I think Jay's choked in a few of his last few battles, so I just think Real Sick will. I think he might walk it, to be honest. But
yeah, I think Real Sick is big. Really is one of the most consistent, and I don't think he's actually had any noticeable stumbles really.
No.
So and also he fucking kills every time. So no doubt, I mean, if Jay comes 100% with this one, it'll probably be a classic.
Definitely, man. Yeah, but in terms of yourself, then, man, like what would you say is your least favourite performance that you've been a part of? Would that be the DARPA battle?
I mean, there's also the Canal one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what happened there. I don't know. It would be either one of those or one of my more recent ones, the Scully, which was like he kind of no-showed on the day. And so I got all my rounds out against Zach, who is a battle on like Gavin now. He just a lot of freestyle battling and that. But I don't think like the energy, because it wasn't like a proper battle, I don't think the energy was there like with the crowd. And also there were like a lot of no-shows that day. So that kind of like brought the energy levels down a bit on the event as a whole on Dub Scandal.
Yeah, no, I can imagine, man. And was that the same event that Anubis and Metaphor battled? Is that right?
Yeah, I don't think anyone likes to talk about that battle too much. It wasn't one really. But yeah, noob is a metaphor, magic mic ballad, command curve ballad terminal, and Bowski ballad DTH.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had a couple sick battles.
Some good battles did come out of the event in the end. I do like Bowski DTH, and Conman Terminal is good as well. So
yeah, I mean, people seemed entertained by my round, so I guess that's a win in itself. But still, the energy levels were a bit down there.
No, I can see that, and like I understand why, but yeah, your rounds were very good. I did enjoy it. I have seen the battle as well, but for me personally, like I'm still gutted about this, but I've still not made it to a Dub Scandal event.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's bucket list. There isn't really a Dub Scandal event where I've kind of not walked out with a massive smile on my face. It's just a lot of fun, and they're not even like the best battles. They're just like a really fun like vibe, atmosphere,
Definitely,
and like
man.
that. Oh, I love it, man.
Yeah, I'd love to get up there. The issue for me is like the cost of getting up there normally. Like
one side of the UK to another, innit?
Yeah, pretty much. Getting from Cardiff anywhere further north than Birmingham is normally going to cost 150 odd quid just in public transport kind of thing. So it's
I mean, we in August we were going to have like an event over in Derby, which I guess is a bit closer. So I don't think there's any like restriction in where dub events will be in the future. So for all we know, we may have one a lot closer to you.
Nice. Yeah, I'd like that. But if I'm honest, I know they're not really doing events at the pub that they used was called the Palm. Is that right?
The Palm, and the last event we did there was fucking Palmageddon, which was for me first and a lot of other battles. And I think just because the government kind of like cracked down on pubs and that, we got the Palm free, and like they cooked free food because the owner of it, Jojo, is DTH's cousin.
Right.
And so now kind of lost that over the government crackdown, which is why we used the church house for the last event.
Okay.
But yeah, so we don't use Palm anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've kind of missed my chance, really. The events there looked absolutely amazing, but
they were a lot of fun. And yeah, and as I said, Jojo put on free food for us all the time. So, yeah, and they were pretty much free entry all the time. So, they were pretty incredible.
Nice.
But one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, I want to get up to a Dub Scandal event at some point once this lockdown stage is over. Anyway,
we're overdue for a pretty big one, so we'll definitely, no doubt, Dub will have one in the future.
Yeah, no, nice, man. But in terms of yourself, you go to a lot of events as well. So, what would you say is the standout best battle that you've seen live so far?
Probably, we're not counting any of my own, right?
Hey, if you want to count your own, I rate it.
Nah, I'd probably say, yeah, I'd probably say Ilmac versus Soul.
Yeah,
yeah, that was pretty fucking special. I was updating live for that, so I'm lucky enough to be into a couple big battles, but that's probably the standout in terms of quality.
Yeah, I can appreciate that, man. That's a phenomenal battle. But for you, like I mean, I've been to a couple events where I've tried to do updates, and I just, as soon as the first battle is over, I have to give up on it because it's too time consuming, and I like to go to events and have a couple of drinks and stuff as well. But how do you do it? Like, how have you always like just kept up the consistency with whichever event you're at?
I really don't know, man. I think it has a bit of a downside to it in that to do that you kind of like have to sacrifice like having any fun in the battle, and just like the moment you hear a fire bar, just get into the update thread instead of reacting. So there have been a couple of events where I've kind of been light on the updates just so I can have a bit of fun with it, But yeah, I guess it does kind of pay off because I get a lot of love from people in the forums and that, who really appreciate it, But it is definitely.
For me, there's definitely been some times where I've not been able to make it to events, and your updates have kind of saved the day on that front. Like I've still only made it to one Premier Battles event in Manchester so far.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to the first ever event, so match day 1 of the first season.
Yeah, Matter Soul, that one.
Yeah, which was incredible. And looking back now, if I could have picked any event in Manchester to have gone to, I mean, match day wise, that definitely would have been it anyway. But it's unfortunately, like for me, getting there from Cardiff, it's either 150 odd quid on the train or a £30 bus that takes about 8 hours or something. So it's difficult to get up there, unfortunately. But
I fully understand that, man. Yeah, it's a bit shit.
Yeah, it's London's not too bad. So like any event that they've put on in London, I've been to, but it's, it's only a £10 coach ride that takes about 3 hours or so. So it's not as bad, but
no, fair play.
But the update threads are very helpful for those, especially for the northern events for me. Like because I rarely make it to any of them. So
being a northerner, that's pretty easy for me.
Yeah. Where are you from? There was it Chester that you're from?
I'm from the Wirral, which is like the same place GW and the Carson Kid are from.
Yeah.
I live pretty much equidistant between Chester and Liverpool.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so about 20 minutes from each.
Nice.
So I'm kind of lucky when events come over there. But yeah, pretty sick.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm aware of the Wirral. I've got like family in Chester and then family in like some family in Liverpool and some are in Birkenhead, so I know it fairly well. But nice, man. But yeah, it's I suppose it's pretty easy getting to and from Manchester for these events as well. Then, so that's good.
Yeah, but then there's events I've been to, like the fucking When About DARPA, which was over in like Hartlepool, which is about as northeast as you can get, and it's literally on the coast in it.
Yeah, no, I can imagine that's a bit of a ball ache, like, but
yeah, man, yeah, that was a fucking strange journey.
And how many times have you been over to Ireland now? Then,
Broken Res would be my second event. Then about twice over there. Then about Chigas and about the guy called Chewy Boom.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, over on Chopping Fables, which was the same event as Nugget Fest Raptor.
Yeah.
Which was pretty fucking sick. But yeah, I think after the Shape Val, Matt, who was organising Broken Resolutions too, he wasn't really much of a fan of mine before then, but he definitely really enjoyed the Shape Val. So he said, he will probably be more likely to book me over in the future. So expect me to go in Ireland again over the next couple of years,
No, happy days, man. And yeah, I mean, it shows because the Shapey battle was was it the third upload to YouTube from that event?
It was. I think it was fifth actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
I mean,
it's an early upload anyway. Do you know what I mean? It shows that it's a quality battle. So,
like, how many big names were there on the card? To be fifth is a fucking honor.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. I agree, and it's a great battle and an amazing event overall. Like, did you get to stay for the whole weekend?
Yeah, I was there for all 3 days, and it was one of the best events I've been to, definitely, man.
Yeah,
Fucking love it every single day.
I can imagine, man. Yeah, I unfortunately had to pull out a couple of days before. I had a bit of a nightmare with starting a new job and stuff, and it was
Nah, fully understand, man. But yeah, I mean, they did a good PPV for that, so you I guess you didn't miss out as much.
no, that's it. I got the pay-per-view, pretty quickly, but luckily as well. I mean, so Wales were playing Ireland in the rugby in Dublin that weekend, so I
And it was the same. The Saturday was the same day as a massive election. Like,
yeah,
yeah, so it was packed on Saturday.
yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine. And luckily, I got to sell my flight and my Airbnb for quite a bit more than I paid for it, to be honest. So I didn't do too badly in the end. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
I'm gutted that I missed the event. Like, there was some incredible performances. Visual was crazy.
I think that's the
Um,
standard performance of the weekend, probably.
I think so. Yeah, I think so as well. But I mean, Hades was incredible. Johnny Darko was great.
Yeah,
Nuggetsaurus was everything I expected it to be. It
yeah, there
was
were a lot of fucking sick performances that weekend. Yeah,
definitely, man.
it was a very good weekend in terms of battle rap, and especially like in current times, everyone's going on about how the scene's not what it used to be, or that the scene's dying, and I think events like that kind of revitalize this a bit.
Definitely. Yeah, I completely agree. And I feel that the Irish scene is perhaps, quite a bit more exciting than our scene over here, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah, man, it is pretty fucking sick to see like what Rory's done for the last couple of years with Matt and that. So yeah,
Definitely.
they've
No,
definitely got a lot of nice talent coming through. Yeah.
yeah, man. Definitely. I love what they're doing over there. But like, for yourself then, so what would you say are like the top three standout bars that have been said against you? So like, any moments where you've been stood in the ring with someone and thought, fucking hell, I was not expecting that to come up, kind of thing?
I think the first one, I can't think of two others. I think the first one definitely comes to mind is fucking Titan. Um, his full little backstory about his belt, he'd cancelled out two bouts before because of mental health issues. He had a lot of stuff going on the day and a lot of stuff in the family. And I think half of his third round was kind of like explaining on that a bit. And, obviously there's going to be a lot of people that resonated with. He had some like the type of episodes no one wants to rerun or something. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah, something like that. I'm obviously fucking butchering it, but it was a really fucking sick round and one of the best bars I've been in front of. Another one, I think one of the ones that DARPA had, like DARPA was and still is a very indirect battler. He had something like about stabbing me and then like stabbing all the scabs again. I'm obviously fucking butchering that again. I haven't watched that battle in ages for good reason. But yeah, it's one of those. And the other one that comes to mind, which I think I've got the quotation right, was I battled Magic Mike, the battle after DARPA, and he said something about how he'll put a Japs eye on his, I'll put an eye patch on his Japs eye, on your Japs eye, and play pop-up Pyro with your mum.
yeah, I think I remember that now, actually.
It's classic Magic Mike,
Yeah,
He's not exactly known for making sense, but it's stuff like that which is fucking hilarious.
yeah, no, definitely. It's you and Magic Mike. I'm glad that happened as early as it did, because I don't know. I just feel like Magic Mike. He's kind of, with his style, he's starting to run out of matchups now, unfortunately. So I don't know how much longer he's gonna kind of continue to be booked for, unfortunately. But
I mean, there's always going to be battlers like who come through and have this unique style that he can go against, I guess. And there's a couple coming through on like Beast Angus, and no doubt he'll be booked there. But still, he was booked against people like Bard. He did a freestyle battle versus Bobby Rex, and so like, and those styles who are really like different to his, So for all we know, that he could battle a couple more serious guys, But
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you could be right there. And I do still think that him and O'Shea should battle at some point. And I think Dub Scandal is where it makes sense as well.
Yeah, well, also, No Coast has got a division in the UK.
Yeah.
Now, they haven't done an event yet. They were supposed to in September, but obviously that's kind of like being put being put behind because of coronavirus. But they're also a league which kind of has that whole King of the Lawless Dub Scandal thing where it's obviously all serious, but at the same time, it's not everyone's just there to have fun, and there are a lot of unique styles there.
Definitely. Yeah, and like I'm actually the other episodes that I'm doing today, so I'm I'm going to be chatting with Homeschool first from iBattle, obviously, and then I've got Bill Blaze coming on, so obviously CCM have just rebranded as No Coast New England, so we're going to talk about that, and then I've got Shake from No Coast coming on straight after, so
yeah, man,
we'll be able to talk about that quite in depthly. I'm looking forward to No Coast UK as well. That'll be amazing. But yeah, it's a lot going on.
I'm definitely aiming to battle on that. I don't know if it'll be the first event, but I think there's a couple matchups over in No Coast that kind of suit me.
Definitely, yeah. No, I appreciate that, and again, No Coast kind of fall under the iBattle category for me. Like, one of the main reasons that I enjoy watching it so much is just the vibe at the event. It just looks like such a fun time to be there, and it's just like a big community party kind of thing, and I love it. So
yeah, exactly. Like, everyone's just having a laugh there. They have got a couple of really good battlers on that roster.
100%. Human for me is one of the best right now. I'm a huge fan of his. So
yeah, I think just because he's so fucking different.
Yeah,
and like the flow and that, yeah. And they've also got like a couple of others like Jay Walker, who are also just really fun and that, and just really punchline. So yeah,
definitely. XQZ too, I'm a huge fan of. So
I mean, he's kind of like made a bit of a breakthrough. He's been battling 10 years, but I think that this year and last year have been kind of the year where people have kind of like taken notice of him.
definitely, yeah. I mean, I remember the first time I ever saw him, against Crafty, like in the room, and had no idea who he was, if I'm being completely honest. And I thought he was okay, but not incredible. But then since that point, he's really started to level up, and it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the thing is with him though, he before then, no one took notice of him, but he'd still battled names like fucking Real Deal and Nestle. So yeah, it's one of those. Fun fact about the Crafty battle, I actually helped set that up, but no one knows about it because he was in London at the time anyway, on holiday with his wife, and I was just talking to him anyway about No Coast, and he mentioned he's in London around the time, and he didn't know there was a Don't Flop event around the time. So I kind of like mentioned it and told him like who to get in contact with to, get his battle set up.
Nice,
so,
man. Nice. I like it. Yeah, there was a few battlers that was the case with, right? Because I think was it Luminous was on that card as well.
Yeah, versus Pedro.
That's it, and he, I think he just happened to be in London around that time as well, and ended up getting on the card too. So that's quite cool. But no, that's good, man. And XQZ he's someone that I'd like to see come back now. So hopefully, with the whole No Coast thing, that happens sooner rather than later. But I know he's heavily involved behind the scenes with No Coast Chicago and stuff as well. So would be good. But like for you then, so that kind of takes me into one of the next questions pretty well, I guess. So if you had 5 opponents that you want right now, like who would be on your list of opponents that you'd want in the near future?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of mentioned Nonch in that.
Yeah.
There are a couple like dub ballers, like me and Will Ross have talked about it a bit.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and people like that. One baller that maybe versus me would be a good match. Who I think needs to come back is fucking Dank Schrader.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
a giant Dank fan, to be fair. I thought he was incredible, so I'd love to see him back.
Yeah, and I think me and him stylistically anyway, just because of the way we punch, would be good.
Yeah.
About that, I think we nearly got set up for the No Coast event. A guy you would have never heard of, but I've always been a fan of him over in America. A battler called Wojek. You know, he's got a couple of battles online. He battled on ECCM, battled on No Coast. He's one of those guys that's just got a really similar style to me. So we've talked about battling a bit. And the 5th, I don't know. I mean, I was going to say a Canal rematch, but because of how it fucked up with me, but that'll never happen. I don't know. In terms of dub, one battle that we talked about for Rappers Full for Broken Resolutions 2 that didn't go down was MC Rapper.
Oh, right. Okay.
You know, have you seen the MC Rapper battle?
Yeah, he battled Nugget, right?
Yeah, so that's the kind of like, I don't know, just a really non-serious battle, you know, just like that, where we can just like kind of have fun with it, you know, and knowing MC Rapper probably make it viral.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. He's yeah, that would have been quite good fun to see. Actually, I like that quite a lot, and I think so. The guy that you mentioned from No Coast, is it Wojek? Is that the same guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure I'm aware of him as well from ECCM. Did he battle a guy called Fluid?
He was supposed to battle a guy called Fluid, and he had to drop out. But Fluid battled GS, I think, short prep because of that. He battled on ECCM a guy called Optic Sights. But this is like the guys over there, because there's a couple big leagues over in Massachusetts. One of the guys kind of built the name over there. So he battled there. He actually battled Bill Blaze on No Coast.
That might be the battle that I've seen then. The ECCM one doesn't ring a bell actually, but I feel like I've seen one battle of his anyway, but I can't think of what it is. He's been around for a few years though, right?
Yeah, like we've been mates, like the same group I was talking about before, where like when I was in ECM doing video battles and fucking Rory was there, he was in that same group kind of chat we had.
Right.
Kind of, or he was doing a couple of video battles around there as well. So,
nice, man. Yeah. No, that's a good list though. I like that a lot. And like in terms of yourself, have you got any kind of like writing inspiration or like different techniques? Like, for example, is there any specific battlers that you watch when you're preparing to write for a battle, or do you like
I mean, my opponents, obviously,
yeah.
but I kind of go back and like, there's sometimes when I'm kind of like got writer's block, and I kind of go back to the guys who I really enjoy watching, and just who really inspired me to kind of like battle. One of my favorite battlers of all time, someone you're probably familiar with, is a guy called Diavolo.
Yeah,
Diablo.
okay.
Yeah, so he's one of my favorite battlers of all time, and he's someone that I kind of watch a bit of when I'm kind of stuck for, because he's got a similar style to me.
Yeah,
So
phenomenal battler.
he is one of my favorite. So yeah, that's one, and I just go back and watch people on. Obviously, kind of like it depends who I'm battling for, because obviously I battle for double, battle for Raps full, and they're different crowds as a whole. So I kind of watch the battlers there who have gone really well and kind of see what they do well with crowds, and see if there's any kind of like knowledge I can get from that, of how to work the crowd. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. No, man, that's a good plan. Like, I'm always just interested to hear on what people's techniques are. Like, I remember hearing Saurus, for example,
Yeah,
like saying that he'll whenever he's writing for a battle, he'll put an old B Magic battle on and stuff like that. So it's
yeah,
interesting to know. But yeah, and like the final battle rap related question really is it's the one that people have found the most difficult to answer, to be honest with you. But if you were a promoter and you were putting on your own event, you
yeah,
had unlimited funds available to put this event on.
yeah.
You can say up to 10 battles, but what would you be putting on the card?
I don't know. Like some people, I guess, would put the like gnome, fucking gnome level event, where it has all these massive names from overseas. I guess. Um, I don't know, man. I guess I put on the undercard a couple of the guys, just kind of put it on,
Yeah.
put them on, and a couple of wraps full. But I guess I would have that fucking gnome card and get balance back like fucking Oxymoron, all those big King of the Dot names, and all those massive URL names. One battle that I guess everyone has wanted to see, but that I've wanted to see a lot is the Saurus versus Iron Solomon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the big one of the last couple of years. But I think Iron's not doing that for whatever reason, but I kind of used those unlimited funds to kind of get him back out of it, I don't know. I guess, but I know it was supposed to happen before Tay-Rock, but got cancelled for whatever reason. Shotty versus Lux.
Yeah. That makes most people's list, to be fair.
Yeah, that was supposed to happen at fucking Apex before Rock, but I really like. Yeah, I can see how your question kind of caught people off guard a bit, because it is something you don't really think about.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
like
is a difficult one, but I've had a lot of answers that have come up quite a few times now, whereas it's brought up some matchups that I'd never have thought of as well. But like, for example, a lot of people have said Shufflo versus Saurus and Ilmac.
yeah, I think Briggsy would have to try and get that sorted for Apex 2 at the end
Yeah,
of the year, but I guess coronavirus kind of like put a delay to that. But
yeah,
yeah,
definitely. But
yeah, I guess that Soul versus Respect is one that comes to mind.
yeah, that comes up a lot as well.
Yeah, yeah, I guess, and
Um,
also one that I think was supposed to happen for the Dirt Flop title, Shuffle versus Respect.
yeah, do you know what? I've never actually thought about that, to be honest.
I think put a post about ages ago when Shocks kind of vacated the Don't Flop title.
Yeah,
I've put a post that should be a title match. So I guess that's a good one. One pile that I was thinking of recently that before we know we could get on this this year or next year is fucking Canelo versus the Calcium Kids.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah, I mean, any Calcium Kids battle's a good battle, you know.
Yeah.
But
And any Canal battle's a good battle as well, to be fair to him. The guy's a workhorse in that sense. So.
Yeah, except for me versus him. But yeah. Yeah, he is a fucking incredible battler, and I think their styles kind of bounce off each other so well. And so I would really like to see that. That's really all that comes to mind. I guess Shocks versus an international.
Yeah,
I know,
so a lot of people have said Shocks versus Rum Nitty, which would
yeah,
be incredible, but
I'm pretty sure like before the censor bar got locked in, Shocks was supposed to battle Danny Myers.
yeah.
But yeah, Shocks versus Rum Nitty or Shocks versus like Tay Rock or something like that, I guess.
See, the one that comes to mind for me with Shocks is Shocks Big K. I think that'd be unbelievable, but
yeah, I think they've kind of got like a bit problem there when neither battler can kind of cross overseas.
yeah.
So it is a bit messed up with that.
And I think Shocks is on Big K's infamous block list, unfortunately, as well. So
yeah, who isn't these days?
true.
A battle that was speaking of Big K, a battle that was supposed to happen like ages ago, but the other battle no showed was fucking Big K versus Twerk. It was supposed to happen on some league in like Georgia that no one's heard of, but they managed to get the budget together for that. And Twerk no showed like the day off twice. So
Of course he did.
yeah, you know what Twerk's like. But yeah, that would have been a fucking incredible battle. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was meant to be happening, to be honest. So
Yeah, this was like last year or something, you know.
right,
But yeah, it's a couple of battles like that.
nice. Yeah, that for me, like with Tay Rock, I've honestly never really been a fan. I think he's, in my opinion, I think he's the most overhyped battler ever.
I've seen like some battles which I've enjoyed of his, like I enjoyed the Hollow one, I enjoyed the C3, I enjoyed the Pat one, but that's really it. But I think I kind of appreciate why people like him so much, but he's just never done it for me.
No.
But I still think that when you consider Shox's style and when you consider fucking Tay Rock style, you know, that would be a good match just with their like style clash.
Yeah, no, I do definitely see what you mean, and it's Tay Rock brings fans to the venue as well, so I appreciate that about him. And like, he is a very good performer. I just think I barely fucking understand any of his material. I think it's terrible like most of the time, but
kind of like makes up for his writing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, when you consider like when Show vs. Tay Rock got cancelled, how many people were like kind of upset about that, like, and how many people have bought their tickets just for that.
Yeah,
you know, it kind of shows what a draw he is. You know.
No, definitely. No, I do appreciate that, and like, it just annoys me. I think it might. I saw a post on Facebook the other day. I think it was on the King of the Dot Talkback forum, and people were discussing who makes their Mount Rushmore or whatever, and the amount of people that put Tay Rock on there just makes me like proper angry. There's no way.
So I think people kind of credit Tay Rock a bit too much because he's one of the URL originals. He kind of started off with he started battling before URL, but he was one of the first battlers there, and so when it kind of rose, you know, his stock rose dramatically as well.
Yeah.
So I think that if he had started battling like maybe a couple of years ago, he wouldn't have had as much hype, nearly as much hype as he does.
No, definitely. I completely agree.
But yeah, I think I don't understand why you put Tay Rock there. I think Mount Rushmore, I think Saurus and Ilmac is an automatic inclusion. I think Pat Stay, because he started Grand Time with his Elements League, and I think maybe Loaded Lux.
I think I'd probably agree with that list, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Saurus and Ilmac have, if they're not on it, you don't really follow battle rap close enough.
I think Pat Stay, obviously he's incredible, but really good balance. But his league, the Elements League, kind of started off. Well, it was the inspiration behind like Grand Time.
Yeah.
When he was putting on Level battles. So, and I think kind of like it's that domino effect. With that came fucking King of the Dot, came Don't Flop, and so you kind of have to credit Pat Stay for a lot of modern battle rap today, and so he's an automatic inclusion as well. And Loaded Lux, he had the fucking Lions Den back in the day, which started a lot of URL battles, you know?
Yeah.
So
No,
I think,
definitely, man.
yeah, that's kind of like automatic for me.
Yeah, I agree. And like, just in terms of dream cards, so the matchup that I want to see most this year has no, like, people will either say to me that they disagree and they think it's a horrible matchup, or they say I'd never thought of that, but I guess it makes sense. So it's a bit of a weird one.
Bit of Marmite situation.
Maybe, but I'm just desperate to see Pat Stay versus Ill Will.
I understand that. Like, they're both, like, in terms of punching, you know, and I think Ill Will's been on a really, like, good streak recently, obviously with the fucking 40 cal shit.
Yeah.
I understand that.
They can both switch it up, like you said, but they're also both fucking hilarious as well.
Yeah, they are. Like, I think that's one of Pat's definite, like, strengths, how funny he can be. And I guess Ill Will can be a bit funny as well. But I think Pat's so good if you look at stuff like Danny Myers, when he's so good at, like, fucking breaking down people's style.
Yeah.
And, like Tay-Rock and Shotgun Shug, he kind of neutralized anything they had to say. So I think with Ill Will, I kind of get where that would be, but I kind of get why you include that, because it would be a good battle. But I think I don't know how Ill Will could win that with how good Pat says at like breakdowns.
No, I can see what you mean, but like I think everybody kind of thought that. I feel like Ill Will is pretty slept on by a lot of people. You know, a lot of people predicted that that Pass was going to body him, and then it was that people saying Ilmac was going to body him, and I'd argue that he beat Pass, and I'd argue that I think Ilmac probably edged him, but I don't think there's a lot in it.
I definitely think in a lot of matches like that, he has been the underdog.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess he definitely would be versus Pat. So, but we know if it did happen, you know, it could be like a really good battle, I guess, and he could fucking turn up fit. But I'm so confident that Pat would fucking whitewash him, you know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think I definitely back Pat going into the battle, but I just think it'd be great to see. To be honest, my plan is obviously it's all dependent on what happens with the virus and stuff at the moment, but I'm hoping that I'm going to be at Town Business 3 this year.
Yeah, so, Blackout. The next Blackout was supposed to be in LA.
Yeah,
it was gone, and it was apparently going to be King of the Dot's biggest card yet. So for all we know, like Pat Stay and Ill could have both been on that card.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it'll probably be rescheduled. A lot of matchups on there will probably be rescheduled as well, for all we know. And so it's, you know, a good time to go out there to fucking LA.
Yeah, man, definitely. But yeah, I mean that's kind of it for the battle rap related questions as such. Like I've been ending the episodes off with a couple of music-related questions and then like a couple of just random questions to finish up with. But
Yeah.
obviously, this is very subjective, and if you're like me, it changes every single day. But if you had to pick your three favorite albums of all time, what would they be?
I think, are you going with like how good they are or how much of an impact they've had?
Just anything really, whatever you consider to be your personal favorites, like ones that you go back and listen to often.
Uh, One, I think Enter the 36 Chambers by Wu-Tang is my first choice. It's one of my favorite albums of all time.
Yeah.
Um, for me, like personal impact, like the first album I ever got, and it's still one of my favorite albums to this day. It's the fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers album.
Okay, nice.
I think it was that was By the Way, which was the first album I ever got. So that obviously holds kind of special place in my heart, but obviously
Yeah.
it's a good album as well. And an album that I always go back. I mean, I say it's an album. People say it's a mixtape, but it did, I think, top the album charts. Is a fucking Chance to Rap album, Coloring Book, which is the one I always go back and listen to like every week without fail.
Nice, man.
So yeah.
Yes, the good list, to be fair. I like all three of those. So 36 Chambers makes mine as well, pretty
Yeah.
much every time. So no, I rate that list a lot. But in terms of live acts that you've seen, like what would you say is the best gig you've ever been to, or the best live performance kind of thing?
I guess if we're discounting like Battle Rap, the best gig I've been to was when I was like 15 and I went with my dad to see Gorillaz live
Oh,
when they
nice.
did a massive like tour on their Plastic Beach album. So I went to see them live in Manchester. So it was really fucking good. I went, and like the year after, I went with my cousin to see fucking Arctic Monkeys live. I'm lucky enough to have seen a fucking massive couple of gigs, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a big fan of both of those as well, man. I've seen the Arctic Monkeys, but I've not seen Gorillas, so that's pretty cool. But
Bucket list in it.
yeah, no, definitely, man. Yeah, it's a good list. And is there any like lesser known musicians that you're really into that like myself or the listeners might not be aware of?
Trying to think. I really don't know. Like a lot of my music taste is pretty mainstream, I guess. Um, do you know what? If we're taking this back to Dub Scandal, one thing I was listening to yesterday, one of the cameraman, Lawrence Ellis, he always brings a second angle sound engineer with him called Liam. And Liam goes, he does a lot of instrumentals under the name Special Pockets. And I was
Right.
listening to yesterday. They've only got like 1,000 listeners on Spotify, so they're pretty low key still. But I was listening to it. He's got some fucking blinders on there, just like relaxing, just really nice instrumentals.
Nice. I'll check that out, definitely. I've not heard of him before, so
Yeah, I recommend one called Gold on Everything or something like that. It's just there's a couple really nice instrumentals on there. And it's just like really good like background music.
nice, man. Cool. Yeah, I'll check that out for sure. It's one of my main aims with the show once I've got some more subscribers and stuff is I want to start doing a weekly news feed of like battlers music and stuff and like reviewing older music because it's always been overlooked in my opinion, so just be great to get that a bit more traction kind of thing. But I mean,
Yeah.
apart from that, man, the last three questions, they are a little bit random, but do you have a favorite sports team?
I've always been not really into sports. I've kind of like always kind of been into like more the arts and that. But if I had to choose one, my family's always been like a lifelong Man United supporter.
Oh,
So I kind of had to go with the flow. Yeah.
no, I'm a Liverpool fan, man, so Nah,
Yeah,
no, I can't get on board with United, unfortunately. But
I fully understand that, you know.
but
Yeah.
if you could pick anywhere in the world for your next holiday or your next like trip abroad, where would you go?
Um, I don't know, like, I guess there's obviously like the obvious destinations like fucking Maldives, like Los Angeles, go for a week there. Um, I don't know, I've got family in like Norway and in like South Africa that I've never, although I've seen them in the UK when they've come to visit, I've never actually been out there.
Okay.
So like Cape Town or like Oslo to see them, you know. But I, like, yeah, that said, it's pretty random, so I've never really thought about that. But I guess that's kind of like the answer for now to Norway or stuff like that.
No, fair one, man. Norway's beautiful as well, so it'd be a good trip. But where would you say is your favourite place that you've been so far?
What, as in holiday?
Yeah.
I guess when I was 5, my parents took me for a week in the Caribbean to Antigua, and I guess that's pretty sick. But that's the only time I've been like outside Europe, I guess. I mean, in terms of how much fun I've had on holiday, it's got to be like Island of Broken Rest too.
Right.
But I've been, I've been to Italy before and like climbed Vesuvius and that was just fucking incredible.
Oh, I can imagine, man. That's amazing.
Yeah, there's a couple, but I guess it all comes back to the Caribbean life. That's kind of like once in a lifetime holiday, you know.
Yeah, of course. And Antigua's meant to be sick as well. So
Yeah, that's where I went. So yeah, I was lucky enough for that. And although I was only 5, I really enjoyed it. So yeah.
nice. No, I like it, man. And the final one, which has caused quite a bit of debate, to be fair, and the bad answers I've pretty much ended up bitching about on every episode since, to be completely honest. But
Yeah.
you can pick one sweet and one savoury now. But what's your What's the go-to snack?
Ah, that is one of those things that you don't really think about. I don't know. Like I've never really had anything outside like UK sweets, so I kind of like to expand my palate a bit, I guess. So I know something like any American sweet, like what do they have over there, like fucking Twinkies or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not
Uh,
a fan of them. They're overhyped, in my opinion.
like I've heard they were good, and like I've got a couple American friends who are like on my master's course, and they said that they were really good. I
They're a
guess
bit like mini rolls.
yeah, I've heard the comparison, but it's more like, you know, a lot of the, stuff like that. It's I probably won't even like it, but it's just curiosity in it,
Yeah,
where you've never had them before. I guess. And as far as savory, like I can't really. Oh man, and it will probably be some fucking American fast food chain that no one's like that I'll have once and never like it again. But it's that curiosity.
yeah. They've
Uh,
I think they've just opened the first Taco Bell in Cardiff, like UK wise. So,
yeah, I mean, there's a couple in like Manchester, Sheffield, and Nottingham that I've been to for Taco
oh, there
Bell.
is there? Okay, I thought Cardiff was the first one for some reason, but
No, I've been in Manchester a couple of times when I was doing my masters over there. But Taco Bell is really nice, actually. It's definitely worth having a couple of times. Um, I don't know. There is probably some American like fast food, like fucking Wendy's or fucking Chick-fil-A or something
yeah,
that I've never had and probably won't like. But it's just that curiosity again.
no, that's
So
fair enough, man.
yeah.
I like it. No, it's definitely better than some of the answers I've had anyway. So that's not bad. But yeah, man. But that's pretty much it, mate. But in terms of when this video drops, was there any links that you wanted plugged in the description or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like young crumpet, I guess. If you're gonna drop any link, it would either be to the Shapely Theme Battle or just to the Dub Scandal YouTube page because they deserve like a lot more subscribers, than
Definitely.
they. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Or to, as I mentioned, Special Pockets Spotify page, just for a little plug for that,
Cool.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'll get that sorted, man. But apart from that, mate, thank you very much for coming on the show. I appreciate you taking the time to come on.
Yeah, pleasure, man. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully we'll be getting the idea started for like trying to promote underviewed battles once the subscribers are up.